Hello, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, good night, wherever you're joining us from today. It's so lovely to be back after a long break. I know we've been away without leave and we have not been coming up and showing up, but today we are here again with another exciting episode of Transition to Tech Academy, sponsoring the Tech Talk with Judy and Tricia. So we're talking about stories of how people have transitioned. And yes, we are ready to go. Before we start today, and before I introduce my lovely guest, I would like to send Tricia's apologies. So Tricia is unable to join us yet again. Last week, if you followed my post, I did mention that she had a family bereavement and she's still not able to come. So please do send her your love. If you have her on LinkedIn, if you have her on Instagram or whatever platforms you have her on, please send her your love and your condolences. She will appreciate it. While we're waiting for everyone to show up, I would just like to say hello to my super audience, Ronald and Dicker. Thank you for joining. If you're here and you're joining us, just let us know where you're joining us from, what time it is, if it's a nice and sunny evening, or if it is already dark wherever you are. I know people who are joining from Lagos, it's already dark for them. Just let us know. Just keep on, you know, with all the comments. I would like to see your comments. So can we keep up with the comments? Oh yes, Roman saying it's 8:02 p.m. in Vilnius. And yes, thank you for joining. So while we're waiting for all of that to come up on our comment section, I would like to introduce our guests for today, the amazing, the intelligent, the all the adjectives that you can think of. Queen, be a queen, and she's known as Elizabeth, and I call her Lady B. Everybody knows her that calls her Lady B. So yeah, welcome to
Hi, Judy.
I.
You have to forgive my lighting. It's really bad.
No, it's
But
all right.
I'm excited to be here. Finally, gets to my
Finally,
turn.
yeah, it's so
All right,
exciting
I'm
to have
happy to
you
be
here.
here.
Yes, and I know that. In fact, I know part of your story, and I can't wait for you to share it with our audience. Yeah. Oh, I think one of our audience have noticed that we have the same background. Yes, we
Yeah, we
do
live
actually.
together.
Yeah, we actually live in the same place. Yeah, so yeah, that's very very good spotting, Roman. So yeah, Elizabeth, be
Yes,
a
mom.
queen, Lady B. Yeah,
Present.
you are truly the be a queen because I have learned from you, and you're very good at what you do. But I would like to know, were you always into business analysis? If you were not, what prompted you into going to business analysis? We just want to know your story. Let us know.
All
Just jump
right.
right into it.
Thank you. Thank you so much, my queen, for that warm introduction. And thank you for that very intelligent question. The short answer to your question is no. I've not always been a business analyst. And the long answer is story, story. This is where you
Story.
sit down and get your pencils. I'm a graduate of accounting and I started my
Ooh.
professional journey in customer service. I was 3 years in customer service and it wasn't something I really enjoyed doing in the beginning because all I thought I wanted to do was accounting. I just wanted to count the numbers and tell the business how they're performing and it felt like a lot of fun. But after some time, I spoke to a friend, and he gave me a different perspective into seeing what my current job then was like. And I started looking at it from okay, I wasn't deriving job satisfaction, but I was learning from it. And moving on very quickly, it got down to 2021. It was 2021 ish. And there was all the talk about tech. I'd always thought techs were like the nerdy guys that sit in dark rooms, wear glasses, they are gaming, or they are coding, or they're building animation. I'm like, that's not my thing. I don't have that better capacity. I want to be a baby girl. I went to research. I started researching about okay tech roles, and got so good because of the lot of NGOs that are giving trainings. I came across a few of them. You know, the way the algorithm works, the moment you start searching things, it brings every other related stuff to you. So I kept seeing this. I'm like, okay, you know, I'm going to give it a try. I started with data analysis because every time you come on LinkedIn, somebody is just got a job with Amazon, I just got a job in Microsoft as a data analyst at Microsoft. I'm like, oh, so this is an in-demand skill. This is
Hmm.
SaaS, you know, there's paparazzi. I work at Microsoft. I started imagining myself with a Microsoft ID card or a Google ID card. You know, I tell people I work at Microsoft, I work at Google, big tech guys like that. So I went into data analysis. I learned and learned and okay, I studied and studied and studied, but I did not learn it. Told myself, you know what? This ain't for me. I found that I'm not particularly drawn to the numbers and they scare me. The moment I begin to see a lot of numbers, they scare me. The only numbers that don't scare me are the ones in my bank account. Besides that, every other kind of number
No, the
frightens
ones
me.
that was the bank account numbers that will scare you is when your bank account is, going down.
Yeah,
So if
it's
it's
beginning to look
increasing,
like the time. So
mm,
moving on from there, data analysis didn't seem to work. I decided, okay, you know what? I was going to learn product management. So I went into product. I learned about, and that felt more like my thing. But there was a lot of technicalities involved. It felt like there was something still missing because even though I enjoyed doing products, um, I began to look at it as okay, product is speaking more to the customers even though they have like a splash of the businesses there, you're trying to satisfy the customers. How about we find a balance where both the customers are happy and the business is happy? I know that every product is always aiming to satisfy the business, but how about
yeah.
we're able to bring everything on the level playing field? And that's when I started hearing about business analysis, business analysis. Okay, what's this? Um, I went I went into full time research. There was a lot of information online to consume. I got lost because sometimes you're seeing business analysts, you're seeing data, you're seeing business analysts, you're seeing projects, you're seeing
Mm,
products. And I felt like, okay, why does this really stand? What is business analysis overall? Then I struggled to niche down, okay, learn about here, learn about just read up a lot of things and then sieve down. Then I went into a training. A friend of mine that's also a business analyst, he recommended these people to me, and they were doing hands-on training
mm,
for business analysts in the US market. And I'm like, okay, that's since the US and the UK market and Canadian markets are quite large and they have very good adoption of these roles, it would be really good to learn from them and be able to apply it. So I learned from them and it made a lot of sense. I started seeing a lot of product management things, but I started understanding better how to draw the line business analysis and project management, business analysis, product management, BA, and data analytics. So I now decided, you know what, I'm going to stay both on this intersection between the business, the users, and the technology. So it
mm.
felt very alive. And in addition to that, I got a job with a startup in the beginning of my career. I applied for customer service. When they reached out, oh, the role is filled, but we like your CV. Can you do BD? Then I really needed a job. So I'm like, okay, yeah, I can give it a try. BD frightens me, by the way. I don't like anything that has to do with sales and
When you say
marketing.
BD, because some of our audience
BD,
here are not,
okay.
yeah,
That's business development. So
okay.
I had tested my feet in the waters of business development before when I worked with Fruity Life and I was required to go look for how we can get the product out to more people. You know, go and sell the products basically. Tell restaurants that they should buy our products in bulk and sell at their places. You know, like I don't know how to sell. I don't know how to convince people to bring out money from their pocket. I really struggle with that. So when these people offered me BD, I'm like, you know what? Instead of running away, let me face it. But first week on the job, and it was a startup again. So the CEO and founder was like, "Oh, Betty, you're very analytical. Have you ever considered a career in business analysis?" At the time, I was just enrolling for an MBA. So I'm like, yeah. I've been wanting to do that, but I wanted to get an MBA. I sort of thought they were related though.
Yeah.
I wanted to get my MBA first before I launch. And it's like, okay, you know what we're going to find? You're going to change your contract. You're going to be a business analyst. And that's where it started for me in
Oh.
November of 2021. And it was a really big struggle because I had to work with product team. I had never encountered that before. I don't even understand what product management was. This was before I went into all of the research and learning. I'm like, you know what? Okay, let's do this. Let's do little by little, so that understanding what I'm supposed to do, what my outputs are. I worked very closely with the product management. At some point, I was even a product owner for one of the sub products that the company was building, and it felt very challenging, felt very new, but overall, it has laid a good foundation for me to build on business analysis. So fast forward down the line, 4 years and counting, right? 4 years
Yeah.
and counting. And I have just, at least last, my current BA role is a senior position. I'm like, okay,
Hmm.
look at you. I mean, from
Yeah.
zero, from knowing absolutely nothing about the field to giving value here and there. And why I love business analysis is whether the organization is product based, software based, or it is not software based, there's always a place for you.
For you.
So
Yeah.
a business analyst is that what can I compare it with? Is that fuel you're going to need? You might get crude oil, but you're going to need to get fuel out of it. Or business analysis is that crude oil you need because you can get a lot of derivatives from crude oil. That's
Yeah.
that's
I,
how I
I,
started my
Yeah,
BA
this is really
career.
mind blowing, really mind blowing. And I would just like to ask a question.
Thank
Having
you.
heard the story, would you say your transitioning into a BA role has been by sheer luck, or it has been by your hard work, your research, your determination? What would you say?
I would say it was divinely orchestrated because while I had it in mind, I never really voiced it. I was still doing research on what the course or what the field was about before I landed that bureau. I had never spoken to that CEO about it before. It just came. And so, some people call it luck, but I'll call it divine intervention, divine orchestration. Because as soon as I started that work, everything in my heart that felt like there was a gap, it ceased. And I knew
Mm.
that, okay, I was in the right place and doing the right things at the
Yeah,
right
so
time.
while you would say it's divine orchestration, I would say it's because you had already started working towards that. So I always of the opinion that preparedness meets, or when preparedness and opportunity meet, yeah, that is when things will flow. So if you were not already thinking towards that line, how can I develop myself, how can I upskill and all of that,
Yeah,
and you had gotten the opportunity, you would have turned it down because you had already thinking towards that direction, right? So yeah, that is very
true.
amazing. Meanwhile, why are you
Definitely.
changing your background? I thought you
I'm
want
looking
to.
for a way. It looks like I'm fading into the background. So
Okay.
I'm looking for a better position.
I think I love that other one.
Okay, let
Yeah,
me go back.
yeah, but we'll just get right into it. So, I would say so between the time you got your first, or sorry, between the time you actually thought of going into a BA role up until the time you actually got that first role, how long did it take? Did you have any mentors to like guide you, you know, or you were
Not
just doing it on your
really.
own?
I was just floating.
Hmm.
For time frame between this was like 3 4 months difference because it was between when I had my baby and November. My baby was born like September. So between September and November, December, that's where I was. I was in that state of, I think it's euphoria they call it, where you're not sure where you're going. I was just floating. I'm like, okay, testing the waters now. Customer service was not giving me the satisfaction I wanted. I didn't seem to be landing any accounting roles. Even internships were not coming. It was like they needed you to have iCard, and I wasn't able to get that at the time. So I'm like, okay, what's next? So I was just floating at that time. I just had my baby. I was very used to being on site. And the job I was working with there, or the company I was working with there, did not permit me to be remote because I would have stayed.
Oh,
So I had to quit and then just stay home. And I don't like being idle. So my spirit just became very agitated, very hungry. Like something has to happen. So I was
mm,
just floating, trying to be hopeful. A lot of the times I'll get depressed. I'm like, okay, how am I getting a job? Job hunting is not easy. So I just had to sit down and I do this thing where I do research, and everywhere I see where they do like a career talk, get a job, anything sort of. I didn't have a direct mentor at the time, but I had a lot of indirect mentors. I was always joining their streams. I would follow people like Enoeka. Enoeka is a big player in the business analysis field.
mm,
I would
yeah,
join her master classes. I would listen to her. I was following some other BAs, even people that were not BAs. I was following recruiters, HR guys. So anywhere there was like career placement, if they said, "Oh, you do your CV according to this pattern," I was going to do it. If it was your LinkedIn, then I wasn't even very great at LinkedIn, but at least I did it. I would show up once. I was just there, but
yeah,
putting in effort and seeing how I can get better. So there was one of these workshops I attended that talked about transitioning, not really in that light, but it was highlighting the skills you already have that you can use somewhere, transferable skills.
yeah,
So I had to sit down one day. I'm like, okay, what do I know how to do? This was not even a time of AI that you will say I will ask ChatGPT. And what do I know how to do? I know how to talk to customers. I know how to think on the spot because when you work in customer service, they're dumping stuff on you. You have to think on the spot and within short time. Because I worked with a call center, I worked with Jumia call center. So we had 3 minutes to resolve the entire complaint. So I began to look at okay, these are skills, these are soft skills. I followed I can't remember. There's this very popular guy. Oh my god, it's not coming to me. If it comes to me, I'll say it. There's this very popular guy that is UK based, but he's always talking about CVs and careers and like LinkedIn reviews and all of that. I don't know if it's Judy something. It's coming to me and it's escaping. So I followed him. I always read through his content on both LinkedIn and Instagram. I think I was even in his Telegram community at some point. So there were lots of career communities I just patched in. Let me hear what's happening because might feel like they're saying the same things, but over time, one or two things will sit out for you. So that
yeah,
was how I just felt every time. I've never paid anybody to review my CV, never
mm,
to date. I've never paid anyone to do my LinkedIn till date. So I was always applying everything I was learning. And every time I make a change, it's like, oh, there's something like recruiters are now seeing me, places I
mm,
applied to are now responding. I'm like, okay, that's good progress. So I'm gonna
mm.
keep up with it. So those were the things that I did to transition,
Yeah,
basically.
it's very amazing. And I would say this is sheer determination because you didn't have no mentor, you didn't have no, nobody pushing you. Yes, you did join some groups, some communities that, yeah, but it was just sheer determination. And I'm so proud of
Yeah.
you. Yeah, we've got a question from one of our audience here. I'm going to pin it here. And it says, is it advantageous for a business analyst to have high technical aptitude? I mean, really good programming skills, RBD, MS, handling skills, etc. What do you think?
Short answer no. Long answer, these are the skills that are required for data analysis, data engineering, science, and all of that. Because database management, even though because IIBA has a perspective, so there are 5 perspectives to business analysis according to IIBA, and one of them is the business intelligence perspective. So the society, the workplace, they put it all together. It's just, oh, business analyst. It's when you look through the job description. Now they're expecting data analyst, data engineer, data scientist, product manager, project manager, everything. They now compress it into business
So,
analyst.
yeah.
Many organizations, many human resource officials, even the ones called technical recruiters, they don't know what the difference is.
Mm,
They just probably go on Google, pick something. We want somebody that can do. So they combine 5 people's job, and it's like when they can't find a name for the role, they call it business analysis or business analyst. So the short answer to your question is no. You don't need all of this technical aptitude. You can upskill to it, but I had gone 4 plus. Is recently like this year, I started upskilling into database management. I started upskilling into um data analysis. I'd learned data analysis like 3 times prior. It just is not my thing. I know how to use Excel. If it's Excel, I can do pivot tables. I don't like cleaning data. If you give me
Yeah.
clean data, I can visualize. If you go to my LinkedIn and scroll down to like 2021, 2022, you will see my first Tableau dashboard. It looks like a rainbow, very colorful. I was so happy when I did it that I put it out shamelessly. I'm like, oh, I did a dashboard on Tableau. It was
Yeah.
very interesting. But since then, till date, I've not had a reason at work to use, like, it's not a part, it has not been a part of my requirement. Now, if
Mm.
I go to another organization where it is where I am required, not that the office requires, the organization requires me to do it, maybe there's no DA on the team, there's no data analyst on the team, and then I am able to do the job. I need to analyze data. I need to tell them how
For
the
you.
product is performing. I'll be able to do that with Excel.
Yeah.
I'm learning Power BI, and Power BI has overpowered me. So I'm going to come back to it in future. But for now, I'm going to take it step by step. You're going to have to drink milk before you can eat solid. So
Yeah.
if you go into business analysis newly, and the first thing you want to do is learn process mapping, learn wireframing, learn UI UX design, learn product management, learn DBMS, you just collapse because it's a lot.
So what will
You
you
can
say is the first steps to becoming a BA?
first identify your transferable skills. I always like asking people, why do you want to be a BA? Not
What
because they
is
say
that?
land is a job.
Yeah. What is that transferable skill that every person looking to go into BA should have?
First, you must have people skill.
Mm.
You're going to deal with a lot of people, a lot of stakeholders, people who like you, people who don't like you, people who want you on the job, people who don't want you on the job, people who like the project, people who don't like the project. You're going to need to ensure that everybody is in sync here. So you
Mm.
need people management. You're going to need to learn communication. I didn't
Mm.
say talking, I said communication. That
Communication.
is, I'm sitting with someone and I'm talking to the person, and the person is fidgety. I know that either the person is not comfortable with that conversation or cannot give me the answer or is refusing to. So I want to be able to read and listen to what's not said. The
Mm.
fact that we're all in a meeting, 2 or 3 people are talking in a meeting that has 7 people, you want to pay attention to the other people. So you need communication skills. Then you also need presentation, because if you have a business case you want to talk to other people about, other stakeholders, you want to convince your stakeholders to be a part of this project, you're going to have to explain to them
Mm.
why why should I put my money into this. So first you must know how to manage people, then you must know how to communicate, then you must know how to present. Otherwise, other ones you can look at like critical thinking. There's never a class that can teach you critical thinking. You only have to teach yourself. Because critical thinking is you looking at things as a BA, you are an independent consultant.
Mm.
You like the organization, but your sister is going to use the product. So you don't want to be biased,
Okay.
right? You want to ensure that you are sitting on the fence. If your sister has a stronger proposition, when I say your sister, I mean end users, customers, has a stronger proposition, and the business cannot, what's the word? It's the word counter it, then maybe work with that person. As long as your data tells you that, okay, we have to build this product because the consumers want it, not
Mm.
because the business needs it. So you just want to sit on the fence, don't take sides with anybody. And you have to learn that. That's a very tough thing to do. Because
Yeah.
when you're sitting like, this company is the one paying me salary, but this person is the person using the product. If they don't use the product, the company doesn't make money, the company doesn't have revenue, and they can't pay you salary.
Mm.
So you want to ensure that you are you are neither nor, right? And that's critical thinking. That's you looking at it like, okay, if I'm to use this product, what would I want it to look like? At the same time, does the business have the capacity to build this product to look like what I would want it to look like? So you are measuring, then do we have existing technologies that
Yeah.
help us achieve this? Sometimes the technologies exist, but they're not deployable to your region. So you also want to check all of these things. You want to have a critical mindset that, okay, if you're looking at, I'm analyzing a business and I'm doing a SWOT or I'm doing a PESTLE on this business, what are the economics that can fail this business, and you want to say it's all her. Of course, know how to package it, but don't pretend like, okay, yeah, let's do it when the data says you have 80% chances of failing. So don't
Yeah,
say,
so would you say, I know you said neither, you're neither here nor there, you should be independent, yeah. But would you not say that for the business analyst, or yeah, you should be looking more into the user, like, you should be more on the side of the users than on the business. Not
no, that's picking
really.
sides now. You should be in the middle. My
But yeah,
user
because
wants this. The business goal is this. How do they come together?
okay, yeah.
So your business might be focusing on SMEs, and then
Mm,
there's a conglomerate that wants to use your solution. It's not in line with the strategic direction of the business. So unless the business wants to pivot their model and now accommodate this conglomerate, and they have the resources to pull it off. So say I sell bags, for instance, I sell bags in retail, and someone comes to me and they want to buy wholesale. I may not be able to do wholesale because it's not what I'm set out to do. So
mm,
if I'm able to strike a good deal and say, okay, you know what, I want to now go into wholesale, I want to expand and not just do retail, I'm also going to do wholesale. Then you look into the risks involved, because wholesale business and retail business are not the same. They don't have the same risk. So
yeah.
I'm going to do all of that assessment and tell myself, okay, in as much as this person is telling me they want to buy 1 million, excuse me, 1 million units, but my maximum is like 10 or 20. I've never held so much stock. Or maybe the people I'm buying from don't even give me up to 1 million. It means you have to start looking for other places. Then your cost is different. So you want to do all of those assessments. I'm not going to say, oh, this person wants 1 million. I'm going to go to the markets and run everywhere. I won't do that. Neither will I say, oh, I'm just a retailer. I cannot source for it. I'll make an effort. If I'm
Mm.
able to marry both needs, fine, I'll do that. If I'm not able to marry both needs, maybe make a recommendation. Oh, I can't do this for you. I know someone who can. Do you want to speak to them? Link them up and stay out of it. If you want to collect a commission, collect a commission. But if it's not your thing, if you can't marry both business and users, um, forget it.
BA Queen are just giving us some lecture of business analysis. And yeah, thank you very much for that. So I'm gonna ask you a question right now. I know at the beginning of this program you said you just wanted to be a baby girl, like you didn't want to be techie and all of that. So 4 years down the line, are you still a baby girl or are you a tech guru right now?
No, I don't know how to answer that question directly, because I would say, given that I'm more knowledgeable about what is involved. I know
Hmm.
that I don't have to sit on my laptop all day.
Hmm.
I enjoy the fact that so far since I started my BA role, I've been remote and I
So
work
that's
from
still a
home.
baby girl lifestyle now, right?
Sort of, except
Hmm.
now you still have to keep upskilling, because now there are a lot of us in this. There are a lot more BAs. You have
Hmm.
to educate organizations on why they need you, as in why they need a BA, because many organizations don't know. So you
Hmm.
have to now put in some extra effort. And I didn't want to do all of those extra effort. I just wanted, oh yeah, you're a PA, yeah, we're going to rush you. I didn't want all of that. I wanted all of that rather. But now there's more effort you have to put in. So
Hmm.
I guess yes, I'm still having that baby girl life. I don't have to dress up. There are lots of clothes in my wardrobe I don't wear. I don't
Because you
know
work
what a nice
remotely.
office looks like. I don't like. I think that's the one advantage or the only thing so far that I enjoy. Plus, there's high pay. It's in high demand and there's high pay.
So it's a balance, a baby girl lifestyle and a techie lifestyle combined. You are a baby
Tech,
girl techie.
a tech baby girl.
A tech baby girl.
Yes, I think I
Yeah.
like it.
Yes, exactly. So while we're just going to take a short break to talk about Transition to Tech Academy, this program is brought to you by Transition to Tech Academy. They're the ones sponsoring this program, and Transition to Tech Academy is your one-stop hub when you're thinking about moving from non-tech backgrounds into careers in tech. So we offer courses like business analysis. We offer courses like software testing, project management, Scrum, and all of that. We offer all those courses to you so that you can be able to use that transferable skills that our BA Queen has been talking about, those skills that you already have to be able to pivot into tech careers. So if you're interested in doing that, if you come across this video and you're interested in moving from a non-tech background into sweet, it'll be a baby girl, baby boy techie or a
Tech baby girl.
tech baby girl or tech baby boy, just come to us at Transition to Tech Academy, and we are going to, take you to that place you want to be. Yeah, so we're coming to the second half of this particular program, and I have a question for you. I don't know if you're going to be comfortable answering that question, but yeah, sometime today, I came across the post, and why I'm bringing this question about is because a lot of people when they're transitioning from their former careers and they're trying to use transferable skills. Okay, I was formerly a customer service agent, right? And I want to become a project manager. I'm going to use the soft skills and all of that to be able to put in my CV. I'm going to put all of that in my CV and try to claim. So that is what we call like padding of CV, right? Okay, yeah. So a lot of people do that. I know. I don't know if you're aware of that, but a lot of people do that. And I saw a post today where the interviewer, who was obviously a Nigerian, saying to a Nigerian interviewee and saying, "Oh, hope you're not one of those people that pad your CV up and you come to the job and you're not able to deliver." Do you have any advice for people like that who are thinking of adding those transferable skills and leveraging on them to be able to, make their CV look good and get those roles? Would you advise padding of CVs, or would you advise just coming the way you are, coming into the role as a junior or a newbie, entry level, and just building yourself from there?
Okay, so that's a very sensitive topic, and here's how I'll answer it. I would say first, I always say this: anything you put on your CV that you cannot defend, take it out.
Yeah.
Because it's not enough that you watch the YouTube video and you assume you can do it.
Mm,
If you watch a YouTube video and you've tried your hands on it and you've done it and you are confident, but you've never had to use it at work, so it's something you just learned, you can add it as long as you can defend it. Now it's also okay to, because nowadays on our CVs, before there once upon a time there used to be a time where you put proficiency level of the tools you could use. So then you could beginner, intermediate, but now it's not there. It's just when you get to the interview, why they give you the chance to introduce yourself. Of course, you're talking about the things you've done, the tools you know how to use, and then you can chime it in. Or I have just learned how to use Postman. I've never had to use Postman at work, but I'm
mm,
upskilling to become a technical BA. I'm upskilling to learn how to test APIs, work with
mm,
APIs, understand their endpoints, and all of that. So while I will put Postman on my resume, I've tried it. I know what the interface looks like. I know how to put an
navigate
API authentication
endpoints.
code when necessary. I know how to test it and then what the result is, run it and all of that and save it into files. I can do that. But maybe they ask me something really complex. I will want to first put it ahead that, oh, I'm a BA, I know how to do this and this and this. I'm currently learning how to use Postman to this. So
Yeah.
you don't want to come off like you know this thing when you don't. Now, you won't blame the interviewer for asking that question because it would have stemmed from experience. He has
Mm,
probably encountered maybe the last person on that role they're hiring you for did the same thing. And of course, the person just wants to put it out there like a disclaimer. Maybe the way they said it came off
mm,
very offensive. Maybe they shouldn't have. Maybe they could have texted you privately. I don't know at that point. But then again, if you're learning something and you can defend it, add it. Secondly, many on the other hand, Many hiring managers, they're not very technical. You go to a hiring manager, hey, I want a business analyst, and then they go on Google or on this ChatGPT and go and put, okay, give me a JD for a business analyst for an FMCG or a renewable energy, and the thing just gives them something. They look like, okay, okay, yeah, this makes sense. Sometimes they check back with the other BA, the senior BA.
Mm.
Many times they don't. So they just put it out there and then they are interviewing you and then they are asking, okay, do you know how to use this? Do you know how to use that? So many times these guys don't even know, the HR guys or the interviewers don't know how to identify these transferable skills.
Yeah.
So you will see someone who has never had business analysis on their CV, but they have 5 years in products, in customer service, and in sales. And
Mm.
then you tell them, oh, you've never had a BA experience. That is business analysis. But unless you
Mm.
can identify it, unless you
Mm.
see customer service means I've interacted with your end users. I've
Mm.
listened to their pain points. I have done something to it. I have solved, I've made your angry customer become a rebuying customer because I was able to attend to their problem. If I have sold something before, it means I've interacted in the field. I know how to deal with external stakeholders. I know how to bring that report back to management because I'm interacting with their users. I'm probably doing a presentation to say, oh, this is how the sales things went on the field. This is what customers are asking for. That's business analysis. That is even product management.
Yeah.
But if you're able to identify those skills as the hiring manager, it begins to look like, oh, but you said you can use this, but you said you can use that. And then they don't give chances to people who have been trained. Some of them go, oh, you did a 1 month boot camp and then you think you know it. Do you know what a boot camp is? A boot camp means I'm giving you hands-on experience.
Yeah, but okay, when you talk about customer service and yeah, customer service are practically product managers, product owners, and all of that, customer service representatives. Do you think? I know this is not the scope of what we're talking about today, but I just want to ask now: do you think that we can, because I've worked in the capacity of a product of a customer service representative, I can add in my CV that I was a product, kind of like rephrase it and make it look sweet so that it can
There, in,
put it in the
there
CV.
are roles. I won't
Mm,
say product management, but there's a way
mm,
to define it. You can say customer service or customer experience product manager.
mm.
There's a way to package it,
Yeah.
so to speak. You know that I can say customer service BA because maybe I worked within the customer service team. Maybe they
Mm,
were not using automation before, and I suggested an automation tool. Maybe they had to develop a CRM to suit the
mm,
customer service team, and was part of that project. So I can say yes that I'm a customer service product manager because what is product management? Technically
mm,
bringing technological solutions into businesses,
mm,
into organizations, and it could be departmental. It doesn't have to cut across the entire organization. If I'm sitting within customer service team, I was once a customer service executive or officer taking phone calls and attending to emails. And then they're like, oh, we need to deploy Salesforce because manually entering these things are not convenient. Let's get Excali, let's get Salesforce and sync them together so that as soon as a call comes in, we're able to document on Salesforce. That is me doing product management now. That's the entire product life cycle. I have to go from initiation, planning it. Is it possible? Can we carry it? What's the cost? Can our organization bear the cost at this time? What is going to be involved? What are the transition requirements? We need to train our staff. Who's going to
mm,
do this training? Do we get an external person? Do we get someone from the solution we are deploying? How does Salesforce work? Do they deploy to Nigeria? How can we? Is it on site? Is it cloud? Those kind of things. What do customers want? Because you hear customer service is one of the most underrated departments in most organizations,
Please, actually, yeah.
and they deal with most, they're the reasons why organizations still have users.
Please,
Because if
yeah.
I call it the frustration that we pour out on customer service, they are not the management. They don't even understand why the app is not functioning the way it should. They don't even understand why you made a transfer and you've not seen your money. But they still have to be professional and make you understand that okay, they can help you, but give them some time.
Mm.
So if I'm interacting with your customers and I'm bringing customer feedback, is that not research? That's user experience I'm pulling in for you. So
Mm.
when we think product management, I don't need to have sat with a dev team and written user stories and acceptance criteria for you to know that okay, I've been in product management. So it's now
Mm.
how you package it. Maybe you've sat with the dev team, but you don't need to if you're deploying Salesforce for your team, for instance, you don't need to sit with Salesforce dev team now. You don't need to talk to someone from their product and tell them what you want this thing to do for your organization. Then they'll tell you if it's configurable, if it's customizable, or if you can just use it as off the shelf. So it's how you
Absolutely.
put it
Yeah.
together.
Yeah, I think as people trying to transition, you should look for that, you know. I think wherever you're working, you've done one or two things. Like for instance, as a software tester, I remember I did customer service too back when I was in Nigeria. And without knowing I was doing UAT because we had to test. I worked with Etisalat then, I think Nine Mobile now. Yeah, we had to test the codes before we release it to the end users. And without knowing I was doing UAT testing, it was when I became a software
Exactly.
tester that I realized that, oh, this was actually UAT testing that I was doing. And I was able to use that transferable skills in my new role. So let's go back to your
Exactly.
story. Queen, be a queen. We have two queens here today. Yeah, accounting or business analysis, which would you choose? If you had to come
Business
back,
analysis. Business analysis, please. So if I had business analysis in the university as a course, I
yeah.
probably would have done that. When I was going to university, it was all about occupations that had names. You had to be a
Mm,
banker, you had to be a doctor, you had to be an
mm.
engineer. In fact, I thought those were the only four professions. You're either a banker, you're a doctor, you're an engineer, or you
Lawyer,
are or a lawyer.
lawyer.
Those
Yeah.
four. I didn't know people go to school to read English. I didn't even know things like business administration existed. I didn't know you
Mm,
go to school to study banking. The reason
mm.
I went for accounting and not banking was because my mother said if you learn banking, you only be able to work in a bank. Go and
Bank.
study accounting so you can work in Shell. That's why I went to accounting.
Did you work
Plus,
in Shell?
I did not work. I did not
We
work in
all
Shell. I
wanted to
never
work
worked in
in
any
Shell.
oil and gas. I never, and at that time, I was always very good with. My mom used to have a small shop. She does foods, sells snacks. I was the one always keeping track of her money. Like I was always accounting for the money. Or when she
Mm,
sells something, I'll be writing it down. When she spends, I'll be writing it down. So I was very good at doing that. And that was where maybe it was just a natural thing for me. And it just really felt like, oh, I was going to be an accountant. Plus, I was very good at business analysis at business
mm.
studies in school. The only part of business studies I didn't know well was shorthand, but I was very good at every other thing. I was always good, and I enjoyed the idea of accounting. Draw lines, write your numbers. It was just 100 times and units. So when I got
Yeah.
to university, accounting was the only thing I could do. Even when I graduated, I felt like that was the only thing I could do.
You knew
Now,
how
there
to
are no
do it.
regrets because many times when you see some roles, you see things like BSc in business related field, and accounting has taken my legs to the doors, to several doors, and
Yeah.
giving me the opportunity to prove myself. So I
Mm,
don't have any regrets, but if I was to do it all over again, I probably would learn business analysis from the scratch.
mm. Yeah. And I would also want to add that tech is the new oil and gas, right? So,
It
you know,
is.
it is. I know those days everybody wanted to work in oil and gas. Oh, you had to just work in oil and gas, and you had to know somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody to be able to work in oil
Yeah.
and gas. But now with tech, learn a skill, be good at what you do, and just apply. You don't really need to know anybody to actually get into tech.
Yeah, and you don't need to spend 4 years studying to get into tech. And that's another
Yeah.
sweet part of it. Eight
Mm,
weeks, 12 weeks, as long as you can apply. As long
mm.
as you can apply, because for tech, it's applied knowledge. As
Yeah.
long as you can apply, that's why you're encouraged to do portfolios. Show me what you have done. Don't tell me that you're now learning business analysis, that they've taught you process mapping and they've taught you wireframing. Show
Mm,
me. It's a lot easier to prove yourself when you can show it, when there's history. So
mm.
portfolio is not as because people tend to wait. Even me, I'm guilty of this. Tend to wait till when you have everything really fancy, and then you build that fancy portfolio before you put it out. So you can start with Google Drive. You can start with Canva sites. Just put out something. Let there be a space. Personally, I think my LinkedIn is my portfolio, even though I'm now working on doing like a whole section where, okay, these are abstract projects I've worked on, because I cannot show documents, I cannot show companies' documents to prove to you that I have worked on it. So
Yeah.
I'm now trying to work on building abstract projects, some to
Mm.
mimic the projects I've worked on, some to just build abstract problems, because there are problems around us. And as BAs, we need to have that eye to pick it.
To pick it. And I have got here, apologies, I'm trying to get my charger while we're talking. So if I go off the screen, it is because I'm trying to get my charger. But yeah, we've got on the screen here, Ronald saying it is of utmost importance to put out your GitHub and your project so that the employer could see your code. Employers mustn't look for credentials, but for skills. So I think, yeah, this is what you're just trying to say about uh, rebuilding your portfolio. So for the really technical guys that do coding and all of that, I think GitHub is one of the portfolio tools that you can actually put your
Yeah.
codes and all of that.
But
So
GitHub is not only for guys that code.
I've
It's not.
always assumed that it was for
And
that.
because it looks very codish,
Yeah.
right? But you can attach files to GitHub. So if you
Oh,
do BRDs, for instance, you can attach them to GitHub. You can
okay.
attach links to GitHub. It was very recently I found that out, because initially when I was learning data analysis, I was trying to do my portfolio on GitHub. The whole interface was very scary, very confusing. I left it. 3 years later, I came back and I'm like, oh, this thing wasn't that bad after all. And maybe they've improved over time, and there's been a lot of YouTube videos guiding people on how to put your stuff out there. But if you play around with it, you can find it.
Yeah, so I think I need to go back to it because when I tried it, it looked very codish and all of that, and I just left it off. Yeah, but yes, like our BA Queen has said, and audience is saying right now, if you're here and you're listening, please try to build your portfolio. Don't wait until you've done something really great. It is called building of your portfolio, little by little, the little things you've done, put them together, and you're able to prove that you have got, hands-on experience in stuff like this and stuff like this. So yeah, very, very important. So we've got just a few minutes to go, and I would like you to just encourage the next generation of techies out there, tech enthusiasts. Just encourage them. I know you've been encouraging us already, but that thing that will just make them, a lot of people are sitting on the fence. A lot of people even are saying, it is saturated. BAs, you can't get a job in BA anymore. Or, oh no, it's too techy. Oh no, I will go and do a training and they will just chop my money. I won't get a job and all of that. Just encourage someone out there. It may help someone.
Okay. I'm going to start from your second to the last statement. You do
Yeah.
trainings and they will just take your money and they don't get you a job. First
Mm,
off, a training does not equal job. Job hunting is a whole. Anybody who tells you to pay them to give you a job is stealing from you.
mm,
Train for yourself. Take a training for yourself. For instance, transition to tech, I like to call it T2T, is training people. Put yourself there. Learn many of these academies and boot camps. What we teach there is field work. When you go for certification, they will still teach you again for certification.
mm,
Now, I used to think, oh, if I'd work in the BA field, then I can write a CBAP exam now. When I went for CBAP training, and CBAP is Certified Business Analysis Professional, CBAP. When I went for CBAP training, it was just 4 classes, 4 days, and it felt like I'd never heard this thing before. There were some things that I could relate with. There were some things that were completely strange. And it doesn't mean that all I have been doing is wrong. It just means that there's more to grasp onto. It just means that there's more to get to know. It's like going to school to learn engineering and being on the field and learning the mechanic workshop. It's not the same, but it doesn't make the other parts wrong. So what I would
mm.
say to you, I wish I could say don't go to school, but get your first degree, because that's the leverage. However, I look
Mm.
forward to a future where these tech skills will actually be in academic curriculums. Like we're not
I
just
think
going
for
to
them,
school to learn English. We're
mm,
going to school to learn something you can actually work with. So I look forward to that time where tech skills are you can get a bachelor's degree in software testing and you come out and you are actually learning employable skills. But until then, until the Ministry of Education signs that, until then, nobody's running away. See, there's no field that is too saturated that there's no space for you. The
mm,
sky is big enough for all birds to fly. If every bird, the crawling bird, the walking bird, if they all decide to fly, they will all fly and they will not have an accident. That's because the sky is big enough and there are different altitudes to these things.
yeah.
What am I trying to say? Start today. I once had a conversation with someone in 2022 and I was encouraging the person, oh, you know how to use a laptop now? It was one of these Kana boys. Yeah, I don't want to say. I don't want to say. That's how I'm trying to say. I'm like, okay, you're very conversant with pressing laptop. You're very conversant with some tools. Go
Yeah.
and take training and learn. If it's graphics design, if it's engineering and software engineering, all of those things you want to learn. If it's
Mm.
coding, use 3 months. The guy said to me, I don't have 3 months to put down. I want money today, today. Early
Wow.
this year, he called me ranting. This was someone like I won't say I'm mentoring, but someone I happen to know.
Mm.
So he called me early this year, ranting. He doesn't know what his life is going to. He doesn't. This 3 years down the line, you're still in the same position you didn't have
Imagine.
3 months to give. If you
Imagine.
start today, it will not make sense. But if you don't start today, you will never know what would have been. I hope that's not
Hmm.
going over your head. Because if I did not start when I did, I'm like, okay, I don't know enough. I don't know enough. I don't then
Mm.
you will never know enough because all you do is as you grow, you do what you call gap analysis. Between where I was and where I'm at, what has changed? Between where
Mm.
I'm at and where I need to get to, what do I need to do? So you continuously do that because it's only when you have something to compare with that you can strive for greater heights. So if I were
Mm.
you, I would start today. I will go and check out Transition to Tech Academy and register for. If they don't have the course you are looking for, send them a DM. I want to learn AI prompting. I didn't see it here. They have it. You just didn't see
Mm.
it on the site. It's there. Abi.
Yes,
So
it is.
don't don't let imposter syndrome and don't let there's this thing there's this I call them mental chains, um familiarity complex. i'm already very used to I'm already very used to being a sales executive. I'm already very used to uh, replying emails for people and cleaning there's more that you can do. If you don't
Yeah.
let yourself go, you will never know what you can do. As far
Mm.
as your mind can conceive, your hands can do it because
Mm.
we were created in the image of God. And look at God, look at the whole earth. As
Yeah.
big as the earth is, it's just a footstool to God. Do you know what that every time I think about it, it gives me that mindless possibility.
Yeah.
Like you're the only person stopping yourself. So people will say what they want to say. You're not really good at design. You don't really know colors. If you know how to arrange your room, if people are coming and they're like, oh, set the table, we are having guests, and you can do that. That's interior decor.
Mm.
Build on it. If you're the type that knows how to match colors for outfits, so you understand designing, you understand the concept. Me, I don't know how to do it though. If you leave me, I will wear polka dots on stripes. I don't know how to. So I've had to learn those things over time. But if it comes to you naturally, search for what comes to you naturally. There's a tech skill that aligns with your passion.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you need someone to talk to, look for someone to talk to. Me, my
Yeah.
DM is open. You can talk to me, and I'm very sure you can talk to our software queen, our tech queen.
Mm.
Like, "Babe, I like doing this. I like doing this. I'm trying to get into tech. I don't know what skills. I do clarity calls for people where I tell them that, okay, what's your interest? What's your background like? What has it been for you? Because sometimes you think you want to do data analysis like me because people are hearing the news, people are understanding, people are getting jobs at Amazon. So you think, oh, I want that job at Amazon. So I will learn data analysis. There's more. Amazon also needs UI UX designers. Amazon needs product managers. Amazon needs software testers. Amazon needs back-end developers. Amazon needs front-end developers. So there's not that one role for everybody.
Yeah.
Find your beauty and stick with it. If there are people around you that are discouraging you, change your circle because it's only you that can limit yourself. With these few
Hmm.
points of mine, I hope I've been able to convince you and not confuse you. Next way to go.
Elizabeth, I'm going to call you by your government name. You always crack me up every time we have to talk, and I'm so loving this. I'm just wishing that this program will not end right now. It
I
might
know,
interest
right?
you to know that Lady B is going to be our BA, tutor at Transition to Tech Academy. So if you have loved the way she has spoken, because you can see she's really, rooted in it. I have seen her teach, and I know she's really, very, very intelligent, and she's an expert. So just send us a DM so that you can join our BA class. I've pinned
Today,
her.
today.
Yeah, today. Don't don't
Don't think
postpone.
about it.
Don't
Just
think
three, two,
about
one.
it.
Here.
Yeah, I've pinned her full name on the screen right now. So if you're on LinkedIn, please follow her on LinkedIn so that you can get more insights from her. I think she's a very if you're young and you're thinking of where to go, she's also a very good mentor, and she'll be able to guide you in the right path that you are going to take. Our audience, can we get a thank you? Yeah, Roman has already said, have a lovely weekend, ladies. Say hello to Patricia and hope she gets back. Yes, we're hoping she gets back too. So we're just going to say thank you very much for coming over. We'll be drawing the curtains here. If you have any other questions and you're not able to, type them right now, I have pinned her name again to the screen. Please send her a DM. If you want to ask us any questions, I've got our different social media handles going on the screen. So on Instagram, we are at Transition to Tech Academy. On Facebook, we are also at Transition to Tech Academy. And on LinkedIn, we are also at Transition to Tech Academy. So please follow us. Like this particular post if you're watching from YouTube, from LinkedIn, from Instagram, like, share, and just let someone know that it is possible for them to be able to transition from non-tech backgrounds into career tech. Thank you once again, Lady B, for coming
Thank
on
you
this
so much
show.
for having me.
Yeah. Any last words?
Send transition into tech a DM today. Today, today.
Yes.
Don't
Today.
sleep
Yeah.
on it.
Yeah. Hoping to
Bye.
get your messages, and have a good evening, everyone. Enjoy your weekend. Bye bye.
Bye.